Now, it shall come to pass, if you diligently obey the voice of the Lord your God, to observe carefully all his commandments which I command you today, that the Lord your God will set you high above all nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come upon you and overtake you, because you obey the voice of the Lord your God. Blessed shall you be in the city, and blessed shall you be in the country. Blessed shall be the fruit of your body.
What was that?
The produce of your ground, and the increase of your herds, the increase of your cattle, and the offspring of your flocks. Blessed shall be your basket and your kneading bowl. Blessed shall you be when you come in, and blessed shall you be when you go out.
This is the importance of obedience right here. Look at the amount of blessings you're getting.
Who rise against you to be defeated before your face. They shall come out against you one way and flee before you 7 ways. The Lord will command the blessing on you in your storehouses and in all to which you set your hand. And he will bless you in the land which the Lord your God is giving you. The Lord will establish you as a holy people to himself, just as he has sworn to you, if you keep the commandments of the Lord your God and walk in his ways. Then all peoples of the earth shall see that you are called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of you. And the Lord will grant you plenty of goods in the fruit of your body, in the increase of your livestock, and in the produce of your ground, in the land of which the Lord swore to your fathers to give you. The Lord will open to you his good treasure, the heavens, to give the rain to your land in its season, and to bless all the work of your hand. You shall lend to many nations, but you shall not borrow, and the Lord will make you the head and not the tail. You shall be above only, and not be beneath, if you heed the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you today, and are careful to observe them. So you shall not turn aside from any of the words which I command you this day, to the right or the left, to go after other gods to serve them. But it shall come to pass, if you do not obey the voice of the Lord your God, to observe carefully all his commandments and his statutes, which I command you today, that all these curses will come upon you and overtake you.
We're jumping back into the curses now.
Cursed shall you be in the city, and cursed shall you be in the country. Cursed shall be your basket and your kneading bowl. Cursed shall be the fruit of your body and the produce of your land, the increase of your cattle and the offspring of your flocks. Cursed shall you be when you come in, and cursed shall you be when you go out. The Lord will send on you cursing confusion and rebuke in all that you set your hand to do, until you are destroyed, and until you perish quickly, because of the wickedness of your doings in which you have forsaken.
They're not gonna have Moses there to calm God down now, you know? How many times Moses was like, God, calm down, don't wipe out everybody. Moses is not gonna be there to do that.
Perish quickly, because of the wickedness of your doings in which you have forsaken me. The Lord will make the plague cling to you until he has consumed you from the land which you are going to.
Because the other times, remember, like the last one with the 24,000 people died, Moses stopped it. But now the Lord's going to make that plague cling. It's not going to stop until everybody is dead. Oh,
to possess. The Lord will strike you with consumption, with fever, with inflammation, with severe burning fever,
what is
with
consumption?
The sword, with scorching, and with mildew. They shall pursue you until you perish. And your heavens, which are over your head, shall be bronze, and the earth which is under you shall be iron.
Oh, okay. Like the ground is going to be so hard to till, and the sky, like dark. No sun, you can't grow.
Change the rain of your land to powder and dust. From the heaven it shall come down on you until you are destroyed. The Lord will cause you to be defeated before your enemies. You shall go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before them. And you shall become troublesome to all the kingdoms of the earth. Your carcasses shall be food for all the birds of the air and the beasts of the earth, and no one shall frighten them away. The Lord will strike you with the boils of Egypt, with tumors, with the scab, and with the itch from which you cannot be healed. The Lord will strike you with madness and blindness,
constant itching?
and confusion of heart. And you shall grope at noonday as a blind man gropes in darkness. You shall not prosper in your ways. You shall be only oppressed and plundered continually, and no one shall save you.
Man.
You shall betroth a wife, but another man shall lie with her. You shall build a house, but you shall not dwell in it. You shall plant a vineyard, but shall not gather its grapes. Your ox shall be slaughtered before your eyes, but you shall not eat of it. Your donkey shall be violently taken away from before you, and shall not be restored to you. Your sheep shall be given to your enemies, and you shall have no one to rescue them. Your sons and your daughters shall be given to another people, and your eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all day long, and there shall be no strength in your hand. A nation whom you have not known shall eat the fruit of your land and the produce of your labor.
So basically God's saying, Where Moses is saying, if you don't obey God, literally the worst of the worst is going to happen.
Crushed continually. So you shall be driven mad because of the sight which your eyes see. The Lord will strike you in the knees and on the legs with severe boils which cannot be healed, and from the sole of your foot to the top of your head. The Lord will bring you and the king whom you
This is a lot like Job boils, losing his children.
Nation which neither you nor your fathers have known.
That's interesting because Job is very obedient with God, and he was, and he's getting pretty much the treatment of someone who disobeyed God, right? That's interesting.
There you shall serve other gods, wood and stone, and you shall become an astonishment, a proverb and a byword among all nations, where the Lord will drive you. You shall carry much seed out to the field, but gather little in, for the locust shall consume it. You shall plant vineyards and tend them, but you shall neither drink of the wine nor gather the grapes, for the worms shall eat them. You shall have olive trees throughout all your territory, but you shall not anoint yourself with the oil, for your olives shall drop off. You shall beget sons and daughters, but they shall not be yours, for they shall go into captivity.
My
Locusts
gosh.
shall consume all your trees and the produce of your land. The alien who is among you shall rise higher and higher above you, and you shall come down lower and lower. He shall lend to you, but you shall not lend to him. He shall be the head, and
Man, you
you
feel so
shall
bad.
be the tail.
You were one of God's chosen, and some other person from some other land is coming in and doing better than you and helping you out. Like, imagine like a person's like dignity and pride is just gonna fall.
Moreover, all these curses shall come upon you and pursue and overtake you until you are destroyed, because you did not obey the voice of the Lord your God to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded you. And they shall be upon you for a sign and a wonder, and on your descendants forever, because you did not serve the Lord your God with joy and gladness of heart, for the abundance of everything. Therefore you shall serve your enemies, whom the Lord will send against you in hunger, in thirst, in nakedness, and in need of everything. And he will put a yoke of iron on your neck until he has destroyed you. The Lord will bring a nation against you from afar, from the
That's
end
like,
of the earth.
What is that thing in Conan the Barbarian? Like that mill thing he had to walk around, like literally breaks your mind. I forgot what it was called. Dang it.
The Lord will bring a nation against you from afar, from the end of the earth. as swift as the eagle flies, a nation whose language you will not understand, a nation of fierce countenance which does not respect the elderly, nor show favor to the young. And they shall eat the increase of your livestock and the produce of your land until you are destroyed. They shall not.
It's called the Wheel of Pain and Conan Exiles. Right. Sorry.
And they shall eat the increase of your livestock and the produce of your land until you are destroyed. They shall not leave you grain, or new wine, or oil, or the increase of your cattle, or the offspring of your flocks, until they have destroyed you. They shall besiege you at all your gates, until your high
all right,
and
Moses, we get the point.
fortified walls in which you
We get the
trust
point, Moses.
come down throughout all your land. And they shall besiege you at all your gates throughout all your land, which the Lord your God has given you. You shall eat the fruit of your own body, the flesh of your sons and your daughters, whom the Lord your God has given you. In the siege and desperate straits in which your enemy shall distress you.
What
the sensitive and very refined man among you will be hostile toward his brother, toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the rest of his children, whom he leaves behind, so that he will not give any of them the flesh of his children whom he will eat, because he has nothing left in the siege and desperate straits in which your enemy shall distress you at all your gates. The tender and delicate woman among you, who would not venture to set the sole of her foot on the ground because of her delicateness and sensitivity, will refuse to the husband of her bosom, and to her son and her daughter her placenta, which comes out from between her feet and her children whom she bears, for she will eat them secretly, for lack of everything in the siege and desperate
Okay, come on, Moses, come on. All right.
You at all your gates.
All right, that's enough.
If you do not carefully observe all the words of this law that are written in this book, that you may fear this glorious and awesome name, the Lord your God, then the Lord will bring upon you and your descendants extraordinary plagues, great and prolonged plagues, and serious and prolonged sicknesses. Moreover, he will bring back on you all the diseases of Egypt of which you were afraid, and
all the
they
plagues
shall
from
cling
Egypt
to you. Also, every sickness and every plague which is not written in this book of the law will the Lord bring upon you.
Okay, Moses, calm down. All right, now he's just saying that
you shall be left.
Anything bad, everything, just all of it is going to happen to you. That's it.
Whereas you were as the stars of heaven in multitude, because you would not obey the voice of the Lord your God. And it shall be that just as the Lord rejoiced over you to do you good and multiply you, so the Lord will rejoice over you to destroy you and bring you to nothing. And you
This has got to be just
shall
Moses
be
just trying
plucked
to
from
mess
off
with
the
them.
land which you go to possess.
God is not going to rejoice in killing his people.
Then the Lord will scatter you among all peoples, from one end of the earth to the other. And there you shall serve other gods, which neither you nor your fathers have known.
Yeah, how do you know
Wood
that? What if they don't want
and
to?
stone. And among those nations you shall find no rest, nor shall the sole of your foot have a resting place. But there the Lord will give you a trembling heart, failing eyes, and anguish of soul. Your life shall hang in doubt before you.
Yo, there's music and the voice
shall
acting, man.
fear
Calm down.
day and night, and have no assurance of life. In the morning you shall say, "Oh, that it were evening." And at evening you shall say, "Oh, that it were morning," because of the fear which terrifies your heart, and because of the sight which your eyes see. And the Lord will take you back to Egypt in ships, by the way of which I said to you, "You shall never see it again." And there you shall be offered for sale to your enemies, as male and female slaves. But no one will buy you.
Come on. Oh my gosh. Like it couldn't get any worse, right? You're being sold back into slavery. But you're even worse. You're even lower than a slave because no one's even going to buy you. Like, my gosh. Moses is just trying to freak them out before he passes on. Get them in line.
These are the words of the covenant which the Lord commanded Moses to make with the children
All right,
of
that
Israel.
was insane. That was the most insane, dark. I don't even know what type of thing I've read in the Bible. Holy.
Land of Moab, besides the covenant which he made with them in Horeb. Now Moses called all Israel and said to them,
You have seen all that the Lord did before your eyes in the land of Egypt, to Pharaoh and to all his servants and to all his land. The great trials which your eyes have seen, the signs and those great wonders. Yet the Lord has not given you a heart to perceive, and eyes to see, and ears to hear, to this very day. And I have led you 40 years in the wilderness. Your clothes have not worn out on you, and your sandals have not worn out on your feet. You have not eaten bread, nor have you drunk wine or similar drink, that you may know that I am the Lord your God. And when you came to this place, Sihon, king of Heshbon, and Og, king of Bashan, came out against us to battle, and we conquered them. We took their land and gave it as an inheritance to the Reubenites, to the Gadites, and to half the tribe of Manasseh. Therefore, keep the words of this covenant and do them, that you may prosper in all that you do. All of you stand today before the Lord your God, your leaders and your tribes and your elders and your officers, all the men of Israel, your little ones and your wives, also the stranger who is in your camp, from the one who cuts your wood to the one who draws your water, that you may enter into covenant with the Lord your God.
Oh, okay.
And into his oath, which the Lord your God makes with you today, that he may establish you today as a people for himself, and that he may be God to you, just as he has spoken to you, and just as he has sworn to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
He's been the God
I make
of the children of Israel this whole time.
covenant and this oath not with you alone, but with him who stands here with us today before the Lord our God, as well as with him who is not here with us today. For you know that we dwelt in the land of Egypt, and that we came through the nations which you passed by, and you saw their abominations and their idols which were among them, wood and stone and silver and gold, so that there may not be among you man or woman or family or tribe whose heart turns away today from the Lord our God, to go and serve the gods of these nations, and that there may not be among you a root bearing bitterness or wormwood. And so it may not happen, when he hears the words of this curse, that he blesses himself in his heart, saying, I shall have peace, even though I follow the dictates of my heart, as though the drunkard could be included with the sober. The Lord would not spare him, for then the anger of the Lord and his jealousy would burn against that man. And every curse that is written in this book
And there's a lot.
settle on him. And the Lord would blot out his name from under heaven. And the Lord would separate him from all the tribes of Israel for adversity, according to all the curses of the covenant that are written in this book of the law, so that the coming generation of your children, who rise up after you, and the foreigner who comes from a far land, would say, when they see the plagues of that land and the sicknesses which the Lord has laid on it, the whole land is brimstone, salt, and burning. It is not sown, nor does it bear, nor does any grass grow there, like the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, Admah, and Zeboim, which the Lord overthrew in his anger and his wrath. All nations would say, why has the Lord done so to this land? What does the heat of this great anger mean? Then people would say, because they have forsaken the covenant of the Lord God of their fathers, which he made with them when he brought them out of the land of Egypt. For they went and served other gods and worshipped them, gods that they did not know. and that he had not given to them. Then the anger of the Lord was aroused against this land to bring on it every curse that is written in this book, and the Lord uprooted them from their land in anger, in wrath, and in great indignation, and cast them into another land as it is this day. The secret things belong to the Lord our God, but those things which are revealed belong to us and to our children
That's interesting.
forever, that we may do all the words of this law.
Man. Today's reading was, I'm still not even over chapter 28. That was insane. But that's going to be it today. I just want to check this out. The secret things. What is that referring to? The secret things refers to the future, as well as the way in which the curses would come to pass. The will of God had been revealed in the law. In these revelations, if these revelations were acted upon, the people would receive God's great blessing. To ignore the express commandments of God would be folly. Similarly, the Christian has God's revealed will in the Bible. To ignore that while chasing after the things God has left secret is pure folly. All right, that's going to be it for today's reading. Tomorrow we're going to jump into 30, and we're going to start off with a blessing, which we need after today's. All right? Hopefully, yeah. Man, today, chapter 28 got me, man. Chapter 28 was insane. All right, but tomorrow we're going to start off with a blessing, so that's good. We're starting off on a positive note. All right, good. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow then. Hope you have a nice day. Take care.